You're listening to Second Advent Radio 101.5 FM. Stay tuned in for our upcoming program.
Radical Love, an informative and interactive program for every woman of every profession. Radical Love helps you discover and nurture the loving side, giving you the confident edge needed for success in a competitive world. Now here is your host, Diane Gomes.
Oh yes, good evening once again and welcome to another program, Radical Love. I'm Diane Gomes. I'm so excited to be with you tonight. Yes, and I know you're going to just absolutely enjoy this one. We have a wonderful guest in our studio. We're asking you to stay tuned. Also, share that link. Let someone know that Radical Love is on. This is a program where we just get into women. We help, we learn their stories, we cry, we laugh, we do all kinds of things with our women. So I'm excited, and I believe that you are excited also. All right. And let me just say a wonderful evening to those of you who are joining us from overseas, outside of Antigua and Barbuda. We are grateful. We are just grateful. We know that definitely you want to be a part of this, and we're so happy for that. All right. And also those of you who are joining us via Second Advent Radio 101.5 FM, we want to just welcome you. As always, we look forward to serving you, my dear. And so those who are joining maybe via Facebook, also we say good evening to you. Happy Tuesday, happy terrific Tuesday, and we are hoping that you are just having a wonderful time so far. We know the year is still new, so we're getting into things right here on Radical Love. We are doing much of a goal setting. We're planning to have a wapstatious, as we say in Antigua, just a wapstatious year. And we know that we must plan. Jesus spoke about planning. And to just introduce our topic this evening, we are looking at finance. Yes, just how we can be financially sound, how we can get out of debt, how we can plan our budget. And so we don't have to have more month than money or more week than money, but as God gives us the wisdom to handle things and to be a good steward of whatever it is He has given to us, that we will not be pulling our hairs out, or scratching our heads, but really we'll be on top of things, and that's what we want. That is what we want. So our guest this evening, Sister Nadine, I say Nadine, but Sister Nadia Henry, yes, she's going to be helping us today. She knows that we need help. I know I need help. I believe you need some help too. So, financially, we can never use too much advice. So we're happy to have Sister Nadia, I don't know why I keep saying Nadia. But Nadia Spencer Henry, she's with us this evening. And we want to say, Sister Nadia, welcome to Radical Love. Welcome. And thank you for accepting the short invitation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. So, dear friends, let me just do some housekeeping quickly before we go into our interview. We want you to share that link. Those of you on YouTube, remember, share that link. Let someone know that Radical Love is on. Let them know we're talking about finance this evening. And also, just let them know that they can subscribe so that whenever we have programs, they will be informed. All right? They'll be notified. And also, just to remind you, this month of January, we want to just welcome and to more or less notify, that's not the word, just to say, send birthday greetings to those of you who are January born. I know I have a few, but there's so many of you. We want to just pronounce a blessing upon you. We want to pray for you. And so we want you to send those names in. Maybe you have your child. It might not be you in particular. Maybe your husband, your spouse, your family, somebody in your family. But whatever, we want to just pray. Can't do without too many prayers. We want to pray a blessing at the end of the month. And so we're asking you to send those names in. You can do that. We have our telephone, we have our WhatsApp at Second Advent Radio. That's 786-1015, 786-1015. And you can send that name. Just let them know Radical Love. Let them know for Radical Love. And we will be sure to mention you and also to pray for you. Okay? You can also call or send a WhatsApp to 464-4143. That's 464-4143. That's my number. And just Radical Love, birthday, and give the name. Name or names. We'll be only too happy, to serve you. Yes, we love to pray for people. And we know that right now, in the times in which we live, we can't pray too much. So we want to mention you. We want to bring you before the throne of God and just ask that God will be with you and protect you and that he will guide you and open doors for you. All of that we want. So we're asking you to contact us and let us know if you are celebrating. Now, if it's not January, whatever month it is, just give us the month. December just left. Yeah. If it's December, just let us know. We will make a note of it and we will be sure to pray for you and to mention you during your birth month. Okay. So let me introduce, just give you a little about our guest today. Now, this lady, I have to say, she did tell me that she was looking for a shorter bio, but I'm telling you, I'm so impressed with what Sister Nadine has done. God has been good to you. God has been good, and of course she's a nice Christian lady, so she is trying, I'm not doing too much. Let me just be nice and, but Sister Nadine, as a woman of God, yeah, you are a role model for many of us, that, listen, we can pursue and we can achieve. So I'm not going to blow her up too much because, but Sister Nadia Henry, she has over 20 years of experience in fiscal and debt management. And she has worked with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank and the Financial Services Regulatory Commission of Antigua and Barbuda. Currently, she's a debt manager in the Ministry of Finance of this nation and has served in the capacity for 15 years. She doesn't look it, I'm telling you now. And she's actively involved in development of the domestic capital market and develops the government's financing plan for development and climate finance. Now, why I'm saying all of this is to let you know that we're in capable hands tonight. Yes. Yeah, I have some debt I want to get out of, Sister Nadine. And I know many of our persons, they are also, they also want to know a little. How can I just become more financially debt-free and financially sound in 2023? So, Sister Nadia, she holds a degree in political science with the public sector management from the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill campus. Hippie! Yay! Our own, yeah? And a master's in public admin. And I can't call these names, yes. And a postgraduate diploma in public administration from the University of Chile. And she is also, and I'm going to mention this because I'm so proud of her, She is also a doctoral candidate with the University of the West Indies. We have to pray for this lady because she is into some serious stuff here. So, Sister Nadine, we want to, and you're researching climate finance. May God bless you as you go through this endeavor. We know you, and so we'll step up the praying.
I appreciate that a lot.
All right. Okay. So this evening, Sister Nadia, we are hoping to speak to especially some of our ladies. We know that they are the managers of the household. And I'll hear the men say all the time it's either their mother or their wives. No matter how bad it is, they always have a stash of money somewhere. So, from that, I know that women are managers. No, not all women are good financial managers. So, this evening, we will talk a little about what we can do, how more or less our culture shapes our activity, shapes our beliefs, our how we handle things, and whether that is good or bad, and how we can break some of those that are keeping us bound. All right. So this evening, we are hoping that we can get through some of those so that by God's grace, 2023, we can just say, Lord, thank you. Help me to be a good steward of this, the blessings that you have given us. And another thing that I failed to say is that Sister Nadia is the wife of our dear pastor, Pastor Nadia Henry. So, we're happy for that. We're happy that you stepped in from your busy schedule to just talk with us here on Radical Love. We want to say good evening to all of our pastors also. And good evening to all of you who are watching, who are listening tonight. Tonight, we will not open the lines. However, you can send a WhatsApp if you dare choose to do that. You can send a WhatsApp, and once Sister Nadine can answer, well, she will do that once we have the time. Okay? So, Sister Nadia, let's talk a little about why is it that finance is such an intricate part of our lives, but we just don't seem to get how to be financially sound. I want to know, is it a cultural thing? Is it that we just, coming down the generations, the tradition, we don't have very good teachers of it, and so we end up just kind of juggling from week to week and month to month? Help us out here.
So I always try to tell people that finance is not a mystery. 1 + 1 will always equal 2. But what tends to happen with us is that life comes at you very fast. And so sometimes even your best laid plans don't work out well. There's also some choices that we make along the way. A lot of us leave God out of the planning.
Oh, wow.
We just assume that, look, this is what my paycheck is week to week, month to month, whatever the case is, and I'll just cut and contrive. I'm sure you've heard that. I'll cut and contrive. God, and so and so on.
Yeah.
Sometimes God really wants to talk with us.
Yes.
Talk through the plan.
Yeah.
But we're just like, God, and whatever. Most of us don't operate with a budget. So it's just like, I get this, I will probably throw a box on. If I have to give to food, when I get to the supermarket, I'll figure it out. Ooh. And, I'll just probably throw a little money here. And if I have something left on the bank or at the credit union at the end of the month, I've done a good job. But I haven't really budgeted anything. A lot of us are not really faithful in our tithing and in our offerings. Unfortunately, we sometimes find ourselves in positions where the bank comes, they draw off all your money at the end of the month because you have different obligations, and you find yourself, okay, there's not room to tithe now because all my money is accounted for. And that's where you find yourself with more month than money. And then, of course, we like to designate our financial choices to other persons. So, so and so told me that that's a good place to buy dresses. So I'll just go there and buy dresses there. I'm not researching. So I
Yeah.
spoke to Sister Diane, and that's where she buys her dresses. She always look nice, and I'm just going to go there.
Oh, dear.
I don't think maybe I should ask 2 or 3 other sisters and get maybe a more economical approach.
Definitely.
Some of us delegate it to our spouses. Oh, my husband handles all the bills and all of that. I don't really need to program that. I mean, if I'm going to need something for the children, I'll just go to him and ask him if I can get some money because school fees coming up, or my
Wow.
child needs so and so for school,
Wow.
etc. So I've just delegated it.
Yes.
I haven't chosen it. Another thing we do is we delegate it to the bank. So we have a mortgage or we're paying for a car, and whatever the bank takes out, they just take out. They take out all the fees, whatever. We don't follow up to see if the bank is doing it correctly. And whatever we're left back with, and we'll figure it out after that. And then, of course, some of us depend on our box hands to create miracles. When I get my box hand, it's going to solve all my problems. I can, pay all my bills
Yeah.
and so on. But box hands really just for short-term goals. Most times you're in a box for maybe 6 months to a year. So that's only covering those. So the longer-term strategic plans that you may want, like building a house or maybe buying a car, those aren't decisions that you can take in 6 months, a year. You can't just decide on the fly with those decisions. And your box hand really can't create those miracles.
Yes.
So these are some of the things that we do, and planning your finances requires deliberate and purposeful action. You have to be very purposeful about it and attempt it with a plan with God, of course, involved.
Wow. Well, you have really given us a mouthful, really and truly. And yeah, we come up in this society, and it's the entire Caribbean. Susu, Boxan, whatever we want to call it. We think that this box, I mean, it's good, because many of us, we have grown up with mommy in the box. And but as you're saying, for a more strategic plan and a long term, you need something else. And it's amazing, Sister Nadia, but we go to school, we're sent to school. There are things that are planned for us. But then our finances, planning that, even our parents, we look at it and we think, all right, so they just get along, If I get something is wrong with my school shoe, I get a new one, and so on and so forth. So many of the times we are not taught from children how to handle money. Yeah. Even the what they call it, it's not stipend when you give the children allowances.
Yeah.
When they're small and all of that. We never got allowances because we never really had the money. But just training them. What do you do with it? It's not just to go to school and to spend off. You buy chewing gum, you buy popcorn and ice pop and all kinds of things. Don't know if you all have those now. But really, you take something out as a tithe. You take an offering out. And you teach that child. So I'm just saying that for many of us, we are really not trained, from an early age, or this just follows us into adulthood. As you're saying, sometimes we go to the supermarket. I mean, am I guilty of it? I believe so. You
don't make that list, do you?
If it's for the family and so on,
Yeah.
there must be a list. But then sometimes you just pop in. And while you're popping in, you're looking at things. You say, oh, look, so. And you just take down. And then you're saying, where the money went?
Yeah.
Never planned for it.
Yeah.
But we are spending. And what I'm understanding that you're saying, it is things like this that keep us in this. We always wanting. There isn't enough to go along on a long time for the long time goal.
Yeah.
That we may desire.
Yeah.
We desire that house. We desire the car.
Yeah.
So we must be disciplined. Is that what I'm hearing you're saying?
Very disciplined, very purposeful. Just to piggyback on something you spoke about earlier, and it's in terms of teaching children. I know with my son, we have tried to show him, we called it the envelope method. So
Okay.
you get $20,
Yeah.
you separate out your tithe, what you want to spend, and make sure you have some left for savings. And so he would always have this, and we give him the set of envelopes, and he writes it on it.
Yeah.
He's not very disciplined.
Okay.
So every time he gets money, you have to repeat that. For him, he would spend the entire sum on eating something. You know, KFC, something he sees on the side of the road, and he's good. And then later on, when he comes to ask you for something, you remind him, remember your money that you had that you squandered? So therefore, you cannot have this thing because you've squandered your money. Or he gives you money and tells you, hold that for me. This is the sneaky thing. This is where we delegate our financial choices. Hold that for me. And then when we go shopping, he starts to pull things off the shelf. I take a tally.
Oh my.
And when he comes at the end and say,
Yes.
what about that money you saved up for me? I said, remember when we went to so-and-so store and you bought this, this, and this? Your money is done.
Oh boy.
You have to so you have to be cruel to be kind.
Oh boy. Wow. I guess having a mom, who's into finance, you're just, it's driving you to be disciplined.
Yes.
Know what you're doing and so on. Yeah. I'm sorry for him. I know what he means. He simply means that you're supposed to buy the thing for him.
Exactly.
And he saves his money.
Correct.
Is anything wrong with that?
Yes.
I mean, I can see with him, but the training is good.
Yeah.
It teaches us to be responsible,
Correct.
And Sister Nadia, I can tell you that really and truly, some of us, we have become so accustomed to just eating around the clock, that we're seeing it, and I keep saying, when hard times come, if it comes, many of us, it will do us good because we will lose some of the extra fat that we have. And we will become more disciplined, definitely. All right. So, Sister Nadia, so we're learning that it's all of these little things. They're like thieves.
Yeah.
They dig into our finances.
Yeah.
And at the end of the month or the week, we're wondering, so where did the money go? And there's some, right now, I'm finding that we buy so much food. We buy breakfast, we buy lunch, and then we could buy a snack. And this is every day.
Yeah.
So what money do we have at the end, to go along?
Yeah.
And we're teaching our children that when we give them all this money to go school, and they buy the salty things and they buy the fatty things and so on, and fries and all of that, it really adds up.
Yeah.
It adds up. So a little later, we're going to hear what what you advise us to do so that we can be more committed, more disciplined. And I want you to give us a challenge too.
Yeah, sure.
It's January, so you give us that challenge.
Sure.
And by maybe December or so, yeah, I'm anxious to hear that. All right, so Sister Nadia, is there anything else on that topic that you would like to say?
The only thing I'd like to say is the important thing of just drilling home that your finances are a partnership between you and God. A lot of times we think it's a partnership between us and the bank, us and our spouse, or if you're a single person living with your parent, us and our parents, but it's really about you and God. It's about the covenant relationship you've made with Him to take care of the talents and the finances that He has given you. And once you see it that way, then how you spend your money becomes a more serious event for you. You don't spend your money willy-nilly. You think about it more seriously because this is a covenant relationship I've made with God, and I'm going to take care of what He's given me and what He's entrusted me with.
Wow, I think that's an excellent point. And that's an excellent way of really managing that finance that God has given to us. I know for a fact, Sister Nadia, that whenever I go anywhere and I pray the prayer, Lord, let me do what you want me to do with this money. I'm telling you, honestly. So I don't pray it much. But I'm telling you, I just get what I need, and that's it. And I'm amazed. I said, wow, just making that commitment, Lord. Because the minute you reach to get anything or you see something that, it's the Holy Spirit just brings it back to your mind.
Yeah.
Remember your prayer.
Yeah.
You don't need that. And sometimes I know that he reminds me, you have the same thing. Not by that.
Yeah.
You have the same thing. And so, saying that prayer, just as you're saying, you're in covenant with God. It really, really changes your outlook, and it changes, what should I say, your practice.
Yeah.
All right. So, now, Sister Nadia, many Christians, they believe that money is the root of all evil. And, because of that, I don't want, I should not have. I should not be wealthy, and I should not be rich. It's okay. God wants me poor. What do you have to say? Is that acceptable?
Well, I always believe in going to the Word. One of my favorite passages is John 10:10. The thief cometh but for to steal, to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they may have it more abundantly. So God wants to give us abundant life. And the next text I like to hold dear to is Proverbs 10:22, which says, the blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it.
Amen.
So God not only wants us to have abundant life, but he wants us to be rich. Now, a lot of persons think that this richness that he refers to has to be financial, like the palace on the hill, the finest car, the finest clothes. But that's not quite where God is going. He's leaning towards a life of contentment with what he's given you. So that whatever state you find yourself in, Paul talks about it, and we were studying it in a lesson, I think, last week. Whatever state we find ourselves in, that sense of contentment allows you to feel rich, even if you don't have a lot. So there's also another text in the Bible which says, blessed are the poor, for theirs is the kingdom of God. So even if you think you are poor, God says, happiness is yours because the kingdom of God belongs to you. I've willed that to you.
Amen.
So if you don't see the riches in this life, you have that hope, or you live a life of hopefulness, knowing that if I don't have it today, God will either provide it for me tomorrow, or he has promised to provide it for me in latter life. And final text I want to quote here is 1 Timothy 6-8, which says, of course, godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, so we cannot carry out of it anything. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with these. So God really wants us to, on the one hand, claim his promise that he's promised to provide for us. Because we know that he made this world and he's promised to provide for us. So he's promised to provide for us. That means he's going to give us everything that we need and want in this life. So that's first off. So you don't have a poverty mindset because you know that God has already promised to provide. But not only that, if I'm not seeing it physically, I'm not seeing the cash flow that I want right now, I'm not seeing the things that I've prayed and covenanted with God for, I know that he's promised to provide it for me. Either now, in the future, or if not in the future, in my lifetime, possibly for my children. If not for my children, maybe for my spouse, maybe for some family member. And if I am not seeing it, my faith relationship with God tells me that I will inherit it when he comes back. Because we know that many of the things he's going to prepare for us. The Bible tells us in John 14:1-3 that we shouldn't let our hearts be troubled because he's going to prepare mansions Not just one mansion,
Hey.
mansions.
Yeah.
So I claim those promises every day. So when you think about your life like that, you don't have a poverty mindset. I'm a child of a king. I may not be having all the dollars flashing right now, but he's promised to provide for me. So I don't have a poverty mindset in any way, shape, or form because he's promised me blessings. Blessed are the poor, for yours is the kingdom of God.
All right. I tell you all that Sister Nadine, she is Nadia. Sorry, that she is actually a pastor's wife. You see, we hear that. Yeah, she's preaching here. She's preaching. So thank you, Sister Nadia. I believe at this time we're just gonna take a break, and when we come back, we will look at some of the approaches, Sister Nadine, that we can take. We should take. And we will also, just ask persons right now, while we take this break, you can send us any comments, any questions or so that you may want to pose to Sister Nadia, or you might just want to just say a comment, give us a comment. We will be happy for you to do that. WhatsApp is, if you're overseas and you want to join us, it's 268-786-1015. We're not taking any calls today, but you can send us a text message, and you also can, we're on YouTube, so those of you who are on YouTube watching, you can feel free to just drop a comment in the section there. We'll only be too happy to know that you are connecting with us. So we will take a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Don't you dare touch that dial. We've got much more coming up right after this.
If my heart has grown cold, there your love will unfold. As you open my eyes to the work of your hand, when I'm blind to my way, there your spirit will parade. As you open my eyes to the work of your hand, as you open my to the work of your hand, oceans will part, nations come at the whisper of your call. Hope will rise, glory shine in my life. Your will be done. Present suffering may pass, Lord, your mercy will last. As you open my eyes to the work of your hand, and my heart will find praise. I'll delight in your way. As you open my eyes to the work of your hand, as you open my eyes to the work
All right. And welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. And you're listening and you're watching Radical Love. Today we are talking to our financial specialist, as I call her. Sorry. Sister Nadia Henry. And she has given us such a deep insight as to our financial mindset and why we might be in the condition, in the state financially that we are. So we want to continue on that grain, but we want to get out of this lock, this prison, this financial prison. And so she's going to be helping us in how should we approach, finance? How should we approach it? She has given us some biblical tips, some scriptures before. And so now we are going to ask how we can practically, get out of maybe the debt that we're in, or get out of the straitjacket that we have grown up. We have grown up in, and we want 2023. Sorry, 2022. We want 2023 to be a year where we bunks into what God has prepared for us. And many of us, we are in the position that we're in because of our mindset. Okay? Let me say that money, wealth, tithing, stewardship, all of that, it is so important that in the Bible, we have over 2,000 texts which talk about those issues. And we know that with biblical wisdom, we can never fail. With what God has given to us, we can never fail. We know, we have seen Jesus talking about money quite a lot. He has spoken about planning. If you plan to build a tower, you're going to sit down and you're really going to look at the cost, lest if you don't do that. And it can be applied to so many different things. If you don't do that, then your tower is going to drop short. You'll never finish it. And he says, they're going to laugh at you. People are going to laugh at you. So just as we are looking at our spiritual life, our Christian life, our relationship with God, we're counting the cost because we want to reach the kingdom. So too, we also have to count the cost with everyday life, with whatever we are going into, our finances, definitely. All right. And she has just reminded us that, and that is stewardship, that whatever we have, really, we should covenant with God because he is the owner. We are just managing it, and we want to be good managers. Okay. So, Sister Nadia, it is just so beautiful to learn that God is a part of our finance. He has actually given us tips so that we don't have to be ignorant with what we do. Yeah. Definitely. We can most likely soar. And a lot of it is planning, and a lot of it is commitment and sacrifice.
Correct.
You can't be buying everything and then, expect to be soaring. Yes, some of us love the high heels. Some of us love the dress. We love the lashes, the hair, the Brazilian stuff, and all of that thing. Well, we're not telling you that you can't look beautiful. But remember, sometimes sickness comes in. And sometimes we have the car, and they say the car is like a child. Yeah. And all of that. So, Sister Nadia, we want to continue with how should we really, and we want to talk to persons in general, but we want to, because this is a show for women, and we're hoping to build the confidence of women. How should we approach finance, especially in this hard time? I'll say one more thing and then I'll let you answer. Earlier today, or just maybe an hour or so before I came, I heard on BBC that this year, I don't know if it's a fiscal year, I don't know the term. All I know, they say that the forecast is very bleak. It is bad. Whatever they anticipated.
Cut the growth forecast in half. Yeah.
Now, when we hear things like that, as Christians, sometimes our spirits are sunken. But as you just told us, there are practices that we can actually, we can develop these, we can take these, and they can see us through. And remember that God is really the head of everything. So tell us, Sister Nadine, how can we approach the finance?
Yeah. So I've tried to cement these into 10 points, and I'll try not to ramble on them. But
okay.
The first one is where you started, which is freely discuss your finances in prayer. Not just about asking God for things, but also lay out your plans and your thoughts to Him, your goals. Even when you make financial mistakes, write them down if you don't remember them all the time, and pray about them with Him. Offer praise in advance of promises and claim the promises and trust God to answer. Don't go about trying to make these crazy deals. Trust God to answer. Just lay everything out with Him. Say, God, the mortgage, I really can't manage the mortgage, and I really need a breakthrough with this mortgage. I need a breakthrough. And God will come through for you.
Amen.
I have a testimony here, but I'll bring it in later. Number 2, make a budget. Write it down, type it, remind yourself that you're on a budget. And one thing I always say to people, there's nothing wrong in window shopping, going with a girlfriend and looking at some shoes that have come out, or looking at dresses, or looking at brooches. There's nothing wrong with that. But window shop with your purse empty. Very simple.
That's funny.
Very simple. I'm window shopping. My purse is empty, so there's no temptation to, okay, I have this $50 here. Let me just buy it. No, because you don't have any money. So you're window shopping. You're looking at it. It's beautiful. Take pictures next to it. If the store clerk allows you, try it on. Look nice in it. Pose. Take picture. Get all the gratification without having to spend the money. Window shop, empty purse, empty wallet.
Okay.
Number 3, guard your thoughts. So a lot of us don't realize it, but we could be practicing covetousness with some of our purchases. So question yourself. Am I buying this because Sister Diane Gomes has one and I want one too? Or I saw her in this really nice hat at church and I asked her right after church where she buy it, and then I'm going to buy it. And so I'm buying it. Why? Do I need a hat, or am I buying it because Sister Diane Gomes has a hat like that? I know where she bought it, and I happen to have a little money. Let me go and buy one. Beware of things like that.
Yes.
Or my girlfriend told me, why you don't buy so and so and so and so? And you know you don't have it in your cash flow, but your girlfriend told you, and just beware of
That's a
practices
big
like
one.
that.
Yeah.
Beware of that. They're very easy to be sucked into things. A lot of times as well, somebody tries to they want to have a birthday engagement. You know, girls, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's going to take me out to lunch, or she carry me for brunch somewhere. Budget for things like that. So don't just randomly, I'm just going to go and splurge on somebody's birthday. Plan for it. Know if you can afford it. If you just happen to can't attend the event, don't feel embarrassed to say,
Okay.
I'm not able to attend this event, Sister Diane, because my budget really doesn't allow for it. If you are going to a cheaper restaurant, I can afford a big banana, but I may not be able to afford a Nomads or a day pass at Royalton. You know, so think these things ahead of time. And covetousness may just force you to say, okay, she go, may go, I can do it, I can, but you don't have it.
You don't have it. Yes.
Right? Discuss your plans with a professional if possible. So, for example, the major purchases like a car, a house, land, even major furnishings like your microwave, your stove, your refrigerator, you may want to discuss that with your bank or your credit union. Sometimes they can offer you solutions that you didn't think about. So, for example,
Okay.
I've thrown a box. I've got my box hand. They may be able to tell you at the credit union, instead of spending all your box money,
Right.
put it here with us on a savings. We could give you the money for buying the refrigerator. And as you're paying back, you're adding to that initial investment you made with the box.
Yes.
So then your box hand is actually growing now. And by the time you're done paying for your refrigerator, you realize, look, that box hand that I had has grown to this, and now I can really think about something. Maybe I want to refurbish my bedroom or my living room, and I can discuss this as a financial plan, as opposed to just splurging all my box hand on it and then having to start from scratch. Ask for help. James 4 tells us, you desire, but you do not have. We have not because we ask not. So ask. Sometimes it may just be, I go by my same girlfriend and she's throwing out something that she no longer wants. But I see that I can do something with it. Maybe just needs a coat of paint or something so and so. And I can say, hey, you're throwing out that, I'll have it.
Yeah.
And I'll use it. And I'll fix it up. I remember we were changing out fans, and I said to a few of my girlfriends, I'm changing my fans. And within no time, two of them said, look, I'm coming to collect the old fans that you have. I can use those.
Okay.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
You don't have to be proud to ask somebody for something that they're not going to use anyway, and that's going on to cooks. You just
That's
take it for
true.
yourself and
That
use
is
it.
true.
And that's saving money. Practice tithing. Practice free will offering giving. And remember, like I said earlier, this is a relationship with God. So you take it out first and you trust God to provide everything else. Sometimes as soon as my paycheck hits the bank, even before the bank gets to it and starts to drag out all of their things, I just pay my tithe and offering. And I said, look, when they finish drag out the things, I'll figure it out. And I have never found that plan to fail. You see a month where my checkbook is not balanced and somebody call me to say, hey, your check did not go through. Just know that I paid my tithe and offering late. I have had that happen to me. And nothing at all is more embarrassing than somebody you think you're in good standing, you be big financial professional.
Yes.
And somebody can say, oh, your check didn't go through, and I'm like, You look back at the account, you realize, oh, tithe and offering didn't go through at the right time, so everything just went haywire.
Okay.
So once you plan with that tithe and offering first, just watch God multiply what's left back.
Okay.
He will do it. You don't have to even maths it out. He will do it. I can tell you that for sure.
All right.
Share with people who are less fortunate. There's always somebody who's worse off than you are. We may think that we are poor, but yet you're having 3 squares and you have some place to live.
Yeah.
Something as simple as your bed sheets. So some of us are in the habit of changing our bed sheets and all our curtains every Christmas, and
Yes.
they're still in relatively good condition. Somebody can use those. You may feel like, oh, this is too, I mean, not getting them by this, because this is, but somebody could use it. Find out before choosing to dump it. Find out. The welfare society, churches, community services are always looking for
Yes,
things
yeah.
that they can give to the less fortunate. And the beauty about that is you don't know who they gave it to, and you don't have to bother yourself about it. You just know you've gone to help somebody who's less fortunate than you
Amen.
are.
Yeah.
Work hard. I can't leave that out because nothing comes without labor. Acts 20:35 tells us that in all things, I've shown you that by working hard, in this way we must help the weak. So once you work hard, God will provide for you. God sees you've put in your work and he will provide. Work hard. Be mindful of your debt. Now, some of us think that it's okay if my friend loaned me a little money, I don't really have to pay her back because she know how things go. We good. It's all good. Don't assume. Sometimes people genuinely need back their money. They may have loaned you in a time when they had it,
Right.
but at some point, if they expected you to give it back, give it back. Sometimes we may not have the cash flow to give it back. So my sister lends me $200 and I used it to do something. when she needs it back, I don't have the $200 to give her back. Don't say, oh, she must understand and I don't need it, and have your sister in your chest. All that is just breeding cancer and just practicing purely bad Christianity.
Yeah. Yes.
So discuss with her, say, look, I don't have $200 right now, but let's work on a plan for me to pay you back this $200. In a long run, it goes towards strengthening your relationship with your sister, or strengthening your relationship with that person who may have loaned you the money, because they see that, look, you genuinely didn't have it, but you made an attempt to pay it back. Don't just owe the person and owe them willy-nilly and don't care about it. Another thing some of us do is we know we have to pay a financial institution, and the bank says, okay, I'll take off my money and stuff. You get paid and you draw off all your money when the bank is looking for their money. No money's left. And you have the poor bank people calling you and having to feel embarrassed.
People do that?
People do that. They take off all their money, and then when the bank is calling, then go wait.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and that's just bad, because later on, when you're trying to do something major, banks speak to each other, and when they do a credit check on you, they find out, not she. She's had, really bad credit with us. And so once they say that, then that limits your opportunity. You may have done this as a single person, let's say that, for example, and now you're getting married, you're planning your wedding, and you're going to a financial institution to talk about, plans with you and your husband, and they do a credit check on you and on your husband. And I said, well, we'd like to approve a mortgage for you guys, but your wife has so and so and so and so. So husband, are you able to go on your own? These are the kind of hard decisions you have from the poor choices that you would have made. So be mindful of your debt. Make efforts to pay it. Even with the financial institutions, they will understand it's better for you to have the conversation with them
than not to do
anything. Say to them, look, either I've lost my job, or I've gotten a pay cut, or in the process of changing jobs. Have a conversation with them and work out a plan so that you can continue to pay your debt. And finally, my final point is, don't be greedy. Some of us have, and we just always need to have and have and have and have and have. Proverbs 15:27 tells us, whoever is greedy for unjust gain troubles his own household, but he who hates bribes will live. Don't be greedy.
Yes.
Don't practice greediness.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. This is absolutely wonderful. All right. And I'm going to see how I can get this to our listeners. All right. Because this is just practical things, good habits to practice. And I noticed that you started with prayer. That was your number one.
Yeah.
You know how important that is.
Yeah.
Really. And also just, you mentioned praising God. That's one of the things that I can really attest to, that the Lord had told me. When you're studying, you need money.
Yeah.
You need money. And I can recall the Lord saying to me, the money is there. You just have to praise.
Yeah.
And I really started praising him, just thanking him instead of asking, just trusting him.
Yeah.
So that trust factor, it comes in. And because God is so faithful, we know that whatever we place in his hands, he's going to work it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes not the way we expected. And as you say in one of your points, working hard. Sometimes as Christians, we expect not to work hard. We expect it to fall from heaven, or somebody to just hand it in our laps.
Yeah.
But the practices, I'm understanding and realizing every day that there is an amount that we have to put in so that we can get out.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, Sister Nadine, you are now, Nadia. I keep saying Nadine. You are now doing your doctoral studies.
Right.
No, I'm quite sure you long to sleep a full night. See? You're longing to sleep a full night. You're working hard because at the end you have this goal and you want to wear that hat. You want to, just hear those words.
Yeah.
More or less, well done. Here is what you have worked for.
Yeah.
So we must remember all of that. And so I'm going to try and get it to our listeners, those of you who are so desirous of getting these, it's 10 or 9 points that you gave us.
10. I'll share them with you.
All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So number 1 was freely discuss your finances in prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, make a budget.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, discuss your plans with a professional if possible.
Uh-huh.
Number 5, ask for help.
Okay.
Number 6, practice tithing and giving free will offering. Number 7, share with those who are less fortunate. Number 8, work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, be mindful of your debt.
Mm-hmm.
And number 10, don't be greedy.
All right. I had missed one. Okay. Very good. Very good. Sister Nadine, thank you so much for coming in. And of course, we're inviting you back. All right. Let's see how our schedule will look. You will tell us, your next available time.
Sure.
But we want to dig into this, and we also want to talk a little with you on like prayer or planning. So we're inviting you back, whatever it is. It was really just enlightening. Sitting down with you and talking. For you, our listeners, I am just encouraging you to, say a little word. Say how you enjoyed it. Let Sister Nadia know that you are going to. Sister Nadia, what's our challenge again? You're going to really just practice some of what she has said to us. Do you have a challenge for us, Sister Nadia?
Well, what I like to do at the beginning of every year is to challenge myself with something financially. And I'm going to encourage everybody to do that. So it may be, 1, to get rid of a bill that you have. Or it may be to start something that you really wanted to start, whether it's land, education, whatever it is, and trust God to provide for it financially. So you may not see the money for that bill now. Pray for God to show you how he's going to do it. Watch him do it. Or you may not have the money for your education. See what opportunities present. Maybe a scholarship may present itself. Or 3, plan for that land. You may have put in an application and you haven't heard back. Pray for it. See if that comes through as well. You may be wanting to start your own business. Pray on that. Put that down. Make it a covenant. Plan for the year. Watch God. Map it out. Make it a part of your prayer journal and just watch how God delivers on that promise for you.
All right. And at the end of our year, or even in June, going into July, we can ask some of our viewers and our listeners to give us a little report. How is that going? So that we can all be encouraged. All right. So we have come to the end of our program here, Radical Love, and we are trusting that you had a wonderful time. I know I absolutely enjoy this. Just learning about how I can increase also my finances, learning the habits that I can develop, the good habits, just makes me feel so light, so delighted. And I have to give myself a challenge also. So we want to thank Sister Nadia Henry for coming in and for really enlightening us at the beginning of the year. 2022 is going to be a year that we see so many things that we thought it just wasn't happening. But this is the year when we will get our breakthroughs. For those of you who joined us on radio, we say thank you. And also for those who joined us via the our YouTube channel, thank you also. Remember, you can also share this link. Let someone watch it. This is absolutely just off the chart. Your finances, we want persons to break out of the financial prisons. And 2023 to be a year of freedom. For those of you who joined me on Facebook, may God bless you. We thank you and we pray that you will continue to view with us, link with us every Tuesday evening at 7:30. May God bless you. I'm Diane Gomes. It was a privilege as usual. Bye-bye.
Radical Love, an informative and interactive program for every woman of every profession. Radical Love